I'm joined today with my really fabulous guest, Nikki Ariel. How are you doing?
Hi, Manny. That was a beautiful introduction. How are you?
I'm good. So you're calling from sunny New York. Has spring come now?
Yeah, it's actually really warm today. It is 69 degrees.
I don't know what that means, but okay, that's Fahrenheit. We are Celsius. But in the UK, the spring seems to have not arrived at the moment. We have the
Oh,
flowers, but it's so cold still. I don't know what's going on.
oh
So
man.
So we connected on social media on Instagram, and like I don't know if you messaged me or commented, and I thought, you know what, this woman, she seems so powerful and so interesting that we have to have a conversation. And I think
Yeah.
today's conversation is going to lift the lid on judgment, on suppression, on alchemy, and all sorts of things to do with self image and living your best life, I guess.
Yeah.
Multifaceted, yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Nikki, and I am a multi hyphenate entrepreneur. I am multidimensional and multifaceted. So I've been a recording artist for the majority of my life. I've been singing ever since I was 8. I am going to be 32 in about a month and change. And um, it was 5 years ago I realized that I was actually supposed to embark on a spiritual journey. I had my spiritual awakening in 2019 to 2020. And it was because of my divine counterpart that a lot has been revealed to me. I discovered that I was clairvoyant through the catalyst of our connection. And I developed a really strong and profound connection to God. He has guided me through the most chaotic storms. It was because of the fact that when you've gone through a tumultuous upbringing, when you constantly get pushback from life and things don't pan out the way you envision it. Like for me, for example, music has always been a passion of mine, and love has always been a passion of mine. The desire to share your life with your one true love. In both of those areas, I struggled immensely. I always had a strong desire to pursue my career in music and my career, my purpose to be a wife someday. Like I knew from like really really little that God created me to be a wife to a very loving husband. And to constantly get pushback and pushback and pushback led to a really deep depression, which was my first dark night of the soul. And it was a lot of rejection, being a recording artist, being a vocalist, trying to figure out how you can make a sustainable career out of your gift, out of your passion, and then constantly being bogged down by life, constantly not having the resources to fulfill your mission, your passion, your purpose. But it was through those painful that painful opposition that I discovered that God really does exist, and not in a way that the Bible teaches us God exists, but in a way that can really resonate with us in our core. That okay, when life doesn't go your way, what is life trying to teach you? What is the lesson being learned here? The lesson being learned is that you're supposed to align with the essence of who you truly are, which is source energy. And it was because of that deep, dark night of the soul, I was able to have a spiritual epiphany, a breakthrough. My twin was the catalyst for me even pushing harder and wanting more out of life, because before I met him, I was always a hard worker. I was a bumblebee, always working, always putting in hours, long hours of work. But when I met him, because he lives across the country, he lives in California, I live in New York, and it was like a point in my head that said, Nikki, you're meant to be wealthy. You're meant to travel to different places and live in different places and have multiple properties. And you're supposed to live in Cali. You're supposed to relocate to be with him. You've always wanted to live in California. What are the odds that he lives in California? What are the odds that he wants to travel the world too? And he loves all the same things that you love. And like when I met, like my life became so clear. Like everything that I've ever done just made sense all at once. And it opened my eyes to make me realize that for settling that I should go after exactly what I wanted. So all of that happened around the same time. The depression, meeting him, the failed relationships, it all happened around the same time.
And how did you meet him? Where did you meet him?
Okay, so I met him on Instagram. I met him on Instagram randomly one day. It's funny, Manny. I actually met him like complete like, I was ready to give up on men the day that I met him. I was crying at work. At the time, I worked at a private doctor's office, background in the medical field. And I was crying at work. It was raining outside. I was crying in the dark. I was dating like the wrong people. I was just so tired of dating the wrong people. And like 2 months before that, I broke up with my karmic partner. He was 23 years my senior, kind of like a false flame, but I knew he wasn't my twin flame. And it was when I broke up with him that made me realize I need to break up because I know that God has something really special for me. So fast forward back to the day I met him. um, I was crying because after I broke up with my karmic, I still went out on dates. I still dated around, and that girl inside that knows that she's destined to find the love of her life and not finding that was so painful. It's like she was crying out for help, like crying,
You know
crying,
that that girl within, and I think all of us have that. We always have that innate knowing there's that person out there. Did you
crying.
know like where he would be, like his background? Did she have an inkling of like? Because I always knew my one was a Mediterranean white man.
Yeah. I love that question. I did know. I did know. I knew that it was later on that I knew that he would be from California. It was like when I broke up with my karmic, like a voice said to me, like, your husband is from California. Literally, that I heard that voice. And I was like, okay. But in regards to ethnic background, absolutely. I always told myself, I said, Nikki, I think you're gonna end up with someone who is some kind of Hispanic slash Italian. That is exactly what he is. Like literally, that's what he is. And I felt like that my like majority of my life. I felt like that. I was like,
I feel like we are imprinted in our DNA to
yeah,
know that.
yeah, to identify them. And then when I saw him for the first time, Manny, oh my God, when I saw his face for the first time, I was just like so many came in all at once. I was like, oh my God, this is it. we didn't even talk yet. And then I withdrew myself back, and then I was like, you know what, Nick, wait, he could be an asshole. Don't get excited. You've been crying all day. Why are we even doing this? You just swore off Matt. Why are you even saying that this is it when you don't know shit about this guy?
And usually the divine masculines are assholes, but anyway.
Yeah, well, from what I heard, they're toxic as fuck, right? But he was the opposite. Very, very like literally meeting myself. I'm like such a sweet person, and when I know that sounded kind of self-centered, but I am like I have a really pure heart. And when he talked, like when he texted me, I was like, no way is he this sweet. Like who like what the fuck kind of fuckery is this? What kind of magic trick is this? Like what is going on? Because he was just so sweet. Like literally reminded me of me. And then he goes to me, he says, I feel like I've known you in a past life. He
Wow.
said that like right off the bat, like 5 minutes into us talking. And I was just like, I was about to say the same thing verbatim. Like, you're taking all my juice, you're taking all the words. And we spoke for like 12 hours that day, texting the whole day. Yeah, it was intense. It was so intense. And at the time, I didn't realize it, but I had a Kundalini awakening that whole week after meeting him.
So how was that for you? What was the experience?
I just felt rosy, like rainbows and butterflies. And like my mind was expanding, my body was tingling. I didn't really know that that's
Mm, mm,
I didn't know what
mhm,
it was. I didn't know what it I had no idea. But I felt like this euphoric high for days. And I'm like, why can't I like why? Like why can't I stop thinking about him? Why do I feel so rosy? Why do I have all these butterflies? Like why does he feel so different? Why do I feel like God is in the center of all of this? And I remember God telling me be very careful with him. Not in like a negative way, but like in a take your time.
mm.
special. Take your time with him. Do not rush. I kept getting that message. This is before I developed any clear gifts, but I just kept hearing, take your time with him. He's special. That's all I kept hearing. And then I ran because I saw immediately he wasn't ready for what I wanted. I didn't ask, I didn't imply. I just ran. I didn't say anything.
What do you mean
After
you ran? Did you block him or did you ghost him or what?
N no, like, just more of my energy, like, I redirected it towards someone else. Like, we were always we've the thing about me and him, we've always been really cool. No matter what's happening on the external, we still talk. It's been 5 years straight, and we still talk, we still get along. Had many upsets, but, when I ran then, it was more of a, "Alright, well, I can see you're not ready for me." Not knowing that I'm not even ready for him, but I can see that you're not ready for me, so I'm going to date, this easy person. And
Hmm.
you see what we do? When we're on, we do the same they do. I literally,
Did you tell him anything? Did he like chase you or?
um, he would message me more than I would message him, but I don't know if I call it chasing. I wouldn't call it chasing. I would just call it like, okay, like
What's up?
this is the dynamic at work, but we're just so unconscious about what the hell is going on.
So wait, he worked with you?
No, he lived across the country, so I didn't see him in person until years after we met, right? So, my boyfriend that I chose to date because he was easy to get into a relationship with, he worked with me. We worked at Mount Sinai Brooklyn Hospital together, and it's so funny how that relationship ended because as soon as it ended and he hurt me, the guy, he just like abandoned me completely, which is like I had a major abandonment issue. I healed it. And at the time I was so upset. So upset, deeply upset about it. I couldn't get over it. Like it took me a long time to get over that breakup. But something in the back of my mind kept saying Christian, Christian, Christian. That's his name. Oh my God, was I not supposed to say his name? Anyway, so I kept something in the back of my mind kept saying his name to me, and I was like, yeah, I feel like there's something that's supposed to be, and it's just hasn't manifested yet. But just stay single, take your time, focus on yourself, all that stuff. This is me still not knowing that I'm going through a spiritual awakening. This is me entering my dark night of the soul and realizing, okay, something's got to give. I have to realign with my center, my truth, because I'm not happy. I keep choosing the wrong guy. I'm not moving forward in my career. God, help me. Like a deliberate prayer, crying out for help. God, help me because I want to be happy. I want to live my best life possible. I want to align with true love. And I was so detached from whether it would be my twin or whoever else. I just wanted God to reveal to me whoever my true husband is. Whether I meet him years from now, matter. I was so detached. I just wanted God to be in complete control. So I was dating again after that break. I said, you know what? Let me just go completely cold turkey. Stop completely. I was celibate for like 2 months and straight, and I just was really like in honing in on prayer, praying every day, morning, noon, and night, talking to God, developing my spiritual muscle, developing this strong bond with God. And one day I was randomly just sitting at home, my business, and God revealed to me that the person that I'm supposed to eventually end up with is my twin.
And
And
how was that like a voice in your head or what?
it was like, when your whole life flashes by, like you just like a rush, like a montage of your whole life just flashing before your eyes, and you're like, it just boom, it hits you. And God is like, it's him. Literally, the words were, it's him. Because I'm just thinking of this person. And God was just like, it's him. And the way I was able to piece it together was I was watching my favorite childhood show called Full House. I don't know if you know Full House. Do you know Full House?
Was it on
John,
Was it on Nickelodeon?
yeah, it was on like almost every channel. TV Land, Nickelodeon, ABC Family, all like everywhere. And oh, Channel 7, all that stuff. John Stamos plays Uncle Jesse. You know John Stamos, the famous actor?
I probably don't.
I think you do. He's so popular. He's such a
I
handsome
know
guy.
Sister Sister. I know all the other ones, but Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I don't know this one.
Okay, well, John Stamos, a very famous actor, especially in the 90s. That show made him really popular. And John Stamos resembles my twin a lot. And I always said, going back to the whole, it's imprinted in you, and you know what your spouse is going to look like, or your counterpart is going to look like, because of that imprint. So John Stamos happens to look a lot like my divine counterpart. And I always had a crush on John Stamos. He played Uncle Jesse in Full House. So that day when I was sitting at home watching Full House, just not even thinking about Chris, not thinking about him at all, and out of nowhere, God was like, "It's him," and my whole life flashes before my eyes because I've been watching Full House since I was a baby. Oh, baby! I've been watching this show since I was like 4, 5, 6 years old. And I'm just like, "Oh my god, everything makes sense. It is,
Mhm.
oh my god, the me running." I immediately go twin flames because I knew that we were twins. Even he agreed that we were.
No, but how did you know the term?
So I was dating my karmic, Carlos. I'm throwing everyone under the bus. I'm calling everybody's name. When I was dating Carlos, I was very much into angel numbers then, and I was with him and we were Googling the number 69 because he was born in 1969 and that number kept popping up, popping up, popping up everywhere. And I needed guidance. I wanted to know, why am I seeing this number all the time? So this is a year before I meet my twin. And the number 69 comes up on Google. An article comes up that says twin flames, divine love, divine counterparts.
It's the yin yang, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It means that you're coming close to meeting your person, blah blah. So I was reading this article on twin flames, and I was comparing it to my karmic. At the time I didn't know he was my karmic. I thought he was supposed to be my
Yeah,
husband.
we do that. I did that with my ex, actually.
Right.
But then when
We
you meet the real thing, you're like, oh, okay, no.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So I was reading this article and I'm like, Carlos isn't my twin, but I don't need to meet my twin because I love Carlos so much. See how demented we are? We settle for the bare minimum. He didn't treat me good at all, hence is why he's my karmic. Right. So at the time, because I didn't have the belief that I can really truly meet the love of my life, because I didn't feel that that's something that was truly destined to me, it wasn't until I gained the courage to completely discard that relationship and trust God, because something inside of me told me, Nikki, you are supposed to have it all and you're not supposed to settle. And then what are the odds? It's not a coincidence that 2 months later, I meet my twin. 2 months after I break up with my karmic, I meet my twin randomly online. And then fast forward to that a huge epiphany that came almost a year later, call it 11 months later, I realized that all of the signs were there. Our first conversation, I go to him, Christian. I go to him and I'm like, oh my God, we're like soul twins. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. I completely even forgot about the concept of twin flames because I wrote it off when I met Carlos. But then one of my best friends at the time was like, "Oh, y'all know about twin flames?" And then immediately I was like, "Oh shit! All of this is like all the breadcrumbs are lining up. I'm being guided here." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I think this is Christian." And then I was like, "This is way," and I was in a whole other relationship. I was with the other person that I mentioned earlier. And I'm like, "You know what? Just put out your mind, whatever. We may be twins, and we probably are twins, and whatever. But I'm not focused on that." It wasn't until I was fed up of being fed up that God really revealed to me, like, not only is he your twin, but this is the person that you're supposed to end up with, which is what made me even dive into the concept of twin flames even deeper because it was all surface for me. I didn't really,
Yeah, until you've had your awakening with your twin or until you've had that intimate connection,
hmm
it's just like, okay, yeah, okay.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't really hit you until God makes it hit you, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Hmm.
wow, okay.
And you know what? Usually the feminine gets hit first and the masculine. That we do cuss them down, but it does take them a while, like almost like a bus hits them, and they're like, "Oh," and they wake up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is your counterpart? Would you say he's awakened in any state, or no? You don't know.
Let's say he's awakening.
Okay, okay, yeah. I feel that way about
I think
him. I
this
feel
month has been huge for a lot of masculines.
yeah. I can tell. Well, I can feel it. I'll say I recently decided to stop watching what he's doing because kind of like how you're saying you want to move on from the whole twin flame thing. Same thing. I feel like all the people that have reached their limit and they're like, okay, I feel really good with it. I don't really need to do all this extra stuff anymore. That's how I feel. The same way you feel, you need to let all that even teaching about it go. And same thing with me. Like I used to constantly post about teaching about that stuff on my page, and then after a while I stopped. He watches me like a hawk too, and like I know I like my energy
Yeah,
is
apparently it's okay for them to look at us, but if we look at them, it's chasing.
really,
Because
really.
our energy, they can do it in the 3D, and it's good for them to do that. They're meant to chase us, but we're meant to be surrendered.
I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. It does make
I
sense.
mean, eventually it balances out, but in the beginning, before union, we're meant to just be with God and surrendered, and they're meant to be looking in, checking in. They check in to see if we've got to where we need to have got to. Is
Wow.
she ready? Is she ready? Can I jump in now? Is she ready? That's what they're doing.
Oh my god, I love that. It makes sense. It makes sense because yeah, I know, I haven't looked to see if he's been watching me, but I know that religiously he did, and I did too. And then I just decided to just stop, and it's been years of us doing that. We were in a relationship, actually, a long distance relationship, um, for a year and almost 2 years. I met him for the. Can you believe? And I know this is gonna hit home for you because you have a Hindu background, right?
Sikh background, but I know a lot about Hinduism, yes.
Uh, okay. Oh my god. It's like I feel like it's an honor to even share this with you because you would get it. So, leading up to us meeting for the first
I think I know what you're gonna say, but go on.
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, tell me if it is. So, um this is when I started to realize I had clear gifts. So, God kept telling me you're going to meet him on his birthday for the first time in person. And I was like, okay, this was maybe 2 years, no, a year and a half before. And I'm like, okay, okay. All right, I'm going to prepare mentally and spiritually and emotionally and everything. No attachments, just go and, have a good time. So God tells me, I know that it's his job to lead in the 3D, but just this one time, treat him for his birthday. I'm going to give you the money to do it. You're going to fly out there to do it. It's gonna be a great time. The location is gonna mean something. Just go. It was Malibu, California.
And
Right?
isn't it funny how everything lines up and you get it all to push you to meet them?
Yeah.
It's happened to me twice, but carry on.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I want to hear more about your story. So, um, yeah. So God keeps telling me you're gonna meet him on 311. 311 everywhere. 311, 311, 311, 311 everywhere, everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my God, I guess it's gonna be on 311, I guess. So it's funny because even leading up to his birthday, I wanted to see him literally the day before. I was like, "Can we see each other? What do we have to wait till 311? Can it just be on 310?" And he couldn't because of like work or and distance and all this stuff. So I was like, "Okay, I guess it's gonna be literally on the dot 311." It turns out that that specific day that we met is the day that divine union is celebrated in the Hindu culture. Mahashivratri, I think I said that right. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was thinking that as well because you've got the 11, which is you and your twin flame, but then the third, it's the counterpart with God. So it's all bringing it together. The date does, yeah. God is in the union, yeah.
Oh wow! Wow, that is so true. Wow. So yeah, and then not only did we meet that day, but we made love for time that day, and that's literally the day that Shakti and Shiva are celebrated literally that day. And then even leading up to
And that's
that,
why, if you notice on my social media, I do a lot of stuff about them because they are the divine feminine, divine masculine template.
yeah, they are.
And a lot of twin flames, I'm sorry to interject, see their divine masculines when they're in their divine form as Shiva. The energy comes through, actually. Yeah.
That's how I see him. And he looks, you know how
They look like it, yeah.
yeah, they look like him. And the way the artwork is depicted, it always like he like literally spitting image. Only thing is that he's not blue.
Yeah,
he's not
yeah.
he's not blue.
I feel you, and there is another video which I'll send to you later, but that when you look at it, you see your masculine in that completely. Yeah.
It it's so crazy. There's even this artwork where there's this girl, she's Indian, and she's an Indian artist, and she was obsessed with drawing Lord Shiva and Parvati or Sati, whichever form she had in her mind. And she would often assume the role as a divine feminine, and she drew herself really, really dark, like darker than her actual complexion, more towards my skin. And there's a picture of this divine feminine that's brown skinned and the divine masculine that looks just like my twin, like long brown hair. Um, I get in the picture is white skin, but my twin is darker, but it looked like him. I'm just looking at this photo and I'm like, oh my God. And then while him and I are together on that birthday vacation, I'm like, can you look at this picture? And he just stared at it for
Does
like,
your twin have that jawline then? That jaw element?
um, he's chiseled.
Yeah,
He's
it's that. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really attractive. He's a model too, just like your counterpart, and he's Italian. So when you said your twin was a Italian model, my brain immediately went to my twin. I was like, wow, what the hell? I mean, it's not a surprise that we're on this journey, but all the synchronicities are really fascinating.
I mean,
But
I made a video. Do you have a hot twin flame? Is that the problem? That was my video because sometimes it's easier to have an ugly twin flame. I swear to God.
yep, it is. It is. It is.
Or an
And
average, not an ugly. Sorry, eye of the beholder. Beauty is everyone's beautiful, but just an average boy next door, please.
yeah, I know what you meant. I'm sorry. But yeah, yeah, he's really attractive, and that was a part of the insecurities. Like all these girls are gonna flock to him. The difference between him and most guys though is that purity, that sweetness. A lot of girls don't go for that because he can, they don't. But his looks are like a magnet. But then when you meet him, they're like, no, you're not like an average guy. Like you're really pure. Like you're pure. And they kind of
The
just
innocence is there still, isn't there?
he's so innocent. Like even when he does things that I don't like, all I see is the innocence. All I see is the purity, and I'm just like, he's an angel. Like he's just such a sweetheart. You can't even be mad. You can't even be mad for long. You can't, you can't even be upset, and you empathize with them even more because you know that it's a part of the plan for them to push your buttons and trigger you.
But we do it to them too.
Yeah, I know, and I noticed that like with me with the OF thing, right? So, oh my God,
Okay,
Nikki,
so we can get into that. But before we get into that,
yeah.
shall we find like the journey about you said you got into a relationship for you why did you split up?
Oh, the guy, he abandoned me. Oh, well, no, with him, with Christian, you mean, with my twin?
The twin flame, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. He said that, you know, I think he was having issues the same way I was having issues. We're both, trying to get our foot on on the ground to become really stable, financially independent. And it's something that we've both struggled with for a long time to like provide that income that you're not just being able to take care of yourself, but you're being able to take care of the ones that you love and the long distance because he wasn't able to see me often because of those restraints, and I wasn't able to see him often because of the same exact restraints. I think he felt like you know how that unworthiness feeling can come up for them? Like, "Oh, I can't take care of her. What's the point? She can't come out and see me. What's the point?" Because I couldn't. Like, and I wasn't even called to. Even if I had the money, I know that he's supposed to pursue
Yeah,
me.
for the 3D, they feel like they have to take care of all
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
yeah. And I know him. He doesn't talk much, but he doesn't like to admit when he doesn't like when he can't show up the way he wants. Like, he will never admit, "Oh, I don't have it." He will never tell you that to your face. But because because they're you and you're them, all the sauce. I know that's how he felt. And I was the one that initiated the breakup because I wasn't getting what I deserved. He wasn't calling. He wasn't making the effort to really be a partner. I mean, he was doing all the right stuff, being loyal and shooing all the girls away and stuff. But that's bare minimum stuff. That's not something that
That's
write a book about.
expected. That's expected, isn't it?
Is
Yeah.
expected, and I knew I deserved more. I deserved the effort. I deserved to, even though we communicate like crazy telepathically, our divine 5D communication is literally out of this world. We can talk for 24/7 and we won't even really miss the other because we're always talking. Like, it feels like that. But you still want the 3D effort, You want that effort. You want to be like, okay, well, that's my man, that's my girl. Let's go out on dates. Let's have sex. Let's do fun stuff. Let's meditate together. Let's pray together. Let's do research together. Let's fulfill our purpose together. All that stuff, And we couldn't do that. There was a point in time when we've done a lot of creative work together, and that was fun. And then that kind of stopped abruptly, and just all this, life started to get in the way, and I think it was really getting to him, like, hey, I can't have this girl the way that I want. What's the point? Like, and I'm still struggling to get to where I want to be. I want to live in my purpose. I want to be proud living in my purpose, and I want to be able to take care of her. And I
And
can't
then
do.
return in that energy, in that emperor energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and me realizing that that's how he felt, without him even really having to say it, I peacefully let it go. It was hard. It was hard, but it was easy at the same time because I was like, you know what, God is guiding this whole thing. God led you to initiate this breakup because he wasn't really in his masculine like that. He's coming more into it now. He wasn't like
They
making the
tend to
bold move.
be in their feminine a lot in the beginning.
Mm! He was heavy in his feminine in throughout the
But then a lot
beginning.
of feminines tend to be heavy in their masculine in the
I,
beginning.
I was, I was,
And
I was like a
then it shifts. Yeah, it
yeah,
shifts.
yeah. I was like a weird balance, but looking back, I was very, very masculine. I was making all the plans, like God told me to go out there, take him out, do all the stuff. Like, even on our date, for his birthday and the day after, like, I paid for everything. I mean, of course I'm gonna pay for the birthday one, but the day after I paid for that. And I looked, I was like, is he gonna call his wallet to do that? And then he did it, and I was like, okay, but he bought other stuff, so it's whatever, it's fine. Money's not really the issue. It's more of like the balance. But he did drive us everywhere, and he did like do certain things that were like, okay, it's like it's balancing, but you could still tell he was very much in his feminine. He wasn't really stepping up like like the real masculine way. So yeah, that's why we broke up, and ever since then, that's when the triggers started really triggering. Like, seeing all the comments with other girls and him flirting with other girls, and oh my god, whoo, Manny, whoo,
I've
that
lived
was,
it. I've lived it also.
yeah, painful, but that pain leads to great victory. Can I tell you? It leads to the best, rewarding, most beautiful, blissful sense of freedom,
Liberation, I was going to say.
liberation, free. I feel free now
That's
because
enlightenment, liberated from all karma. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where I'm at now. Like, I feel like, this. I know this love isn't going anywhere. He's the other me. I love him. I adore him. I can feel that he feels that somehow we will see each other again. And not only that, but we'll be able to build it the right way when it's the right time. I feel all of that from him, and I feel it deeply too. Like,
So
you know,
do you currently communicate, or it's just telepathic right now?
we communication is completely open. We never ever unfollowed or blocked each other, ever. He unfollowed me by accident once, and then he quickly fixed it. It was a funny thing, but anyway, I was slightly triggered by that. But I when I asked him, he said, "Oh no, that was an accident. Let me fix it." But yeah, we've never unfollowed each other. We've never blocked each other. We've had a lot of arguments within the last year, and that was because he made the initiation to begin a relationship again, right?
With you or someone else?
With me. And then I was ready to relocate to California permanently. That completely fell through. But even so, before my California relocation fell through, he made plans for us to start over again and for him to, really make the effort to for us to be something. Like
Mhm,
that was the
mhm.
energy he was giving me. Very, very raw, very intentional, very sexual, very sensual energy. Like, I want you, you're mine. Like that was the energy. And he didn't follow through. I moved out there. Big part of it was to be close to him. A big part of it was for my career, my singing career. And he did not follow through. And it hurt me so bad because all this time, I never picked a fight. I never got upset with you for you not stepping up for the relationship, you not doing the things that, a typical masculine or man would do.
Mhm.
And it was really, I was just so patient because I went into the twin flame thing understanding that there is a particular dynamic and you have to be very patient with them. You just have to be very nurturing, loving, and patient, which wasn't hard for me at all. It was not hard for me to do that. I it was a pleasure like just being in my feminine while trusting in the connection to unfold. But what hurt the most was when you, after all those years of being really patient, and then you step up saying, "Okay, I'm ready now," and then you pull out of
Mm.
nowhere,
And
out of
you've
nowhere.
moved across country as well. Mhm.
Yeah, I did all of these beautiful things for you, and then you pretty much pull out,
Abandoned
chicken.
me, left me, whatever.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
left me, and it hurt so bad, and then to see it play out in ways where you're literally flirting with other people online while I'm here so committed and devoted to you. I've been devoted to you for years, and you're still not connecting the dots. You're not seeing how valuable this connection is. Like he knows we have a connection. He's told me a trillion times over. It's divine, it's cosmic, it's out of this world. I've never experienced anything like this before. Like you're the woman that I love, all this beautiful stuff. And you can feel that it's sincere. You know that it's real. But when your actions don't align with that,
So what do you think's driving the actions of what he was doing? Unworthiness or fear or
I think it was all of the above. He like the fear of several versions of fear. The
it's like
fear
this is
of, okay,
it. This is it.
yeah, like this is it. What happens if I commit to her and like all the things that I could miss out on, or
I
the
mess it up.
opposite.
I mess it up.
Yeah, yeah. He messes it up. Like it was contradicting, conflicting emotions because I feel like a part of him is like, oh, I don't want to settle down yet because I'm gonna miss out on stuff. Versus, oh, I don't want to give her say I'm gonna give her my all and then fuck it up. So it's like
Mhm.
it's like a mixture of weird,
Yeah.
conflicting emotions. He's
And you know
still like,
what? Quite often, I don't remember what you said with the age dynamics, but quite often the divine masculine's a bit younger. And if only they were older, because the feminine is usually more mature anyway, you know. But is your masculine younger than you?
3 years younger than me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's yeah. Mine's 8.5 years. But anyway,
Eight,
so
8.5.
yeah, I always tend to date younger for some reason. I'm 37. I don't probably look 37.
No, you don't. You
And
don't.
yeah, the melanin. Anyway, so then the current the current situation is that he's still flirting with other women or what?
From last time I saw, yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago, which was like the last time I allowed him to trigger me. And that's what led to my realization that I need to stop watching his stories. I need to stop looking at his comment section when he posts his beautiful modeling pics. I need to stop looking because it's I need to escape, not run from it, because I do the inner work. When I do feel it, I feel everything out and then I release it, and another layer is release and another layer is release. But I'm so over that energy of oh, I need this to manifest and I need him to do the
And
right
I
thing.
need to focus on him to go forwards when I can focus on God.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always focused on God. Like
Mhm.
literally every single thing, Manny, I pray and talk and purge and every single like that's something that I knew from the beginning that I needed to do, and I've always been steadfast in doing it. It's like the number one principle for me when even coaching. I always tell all my clients, put your connection to source first. Always. Always. But it's the human mind, the ego in us that always
Mm.
low vibrational habits. And I caught it for the last time I caught it. I said, you know what, Nikki? There's no real reason why you have to monitor what he's doing anymore. It's done. It's over. You know what you need to do. You know where this connection is going. You know that it's infinite. You know that you could still feel the love even when there's no communication. Even when no one, you don't even know if he's looking at you and you know you're not looking at him, you still feel it. You still feel it. So what are you tripping for? Let him live his life. Let him fall on his face if he has to with these other women, and then let him realize in his own time that he was running the whole time from something that is the realest thing in his life, like the only stable thing in his life. I would consider myself the stayer. I'm the
Okay.
ultimate stayer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like when the triggers come. I let them come, I acknowledge it, but I never let it get the best of me. I never let it get the best of me. I never hold any resentment towards him. I don't get upset with I mean, I get upset, but I don't like hold any grudges. I let it go immediately, and I'm just focused on the fact that I know that this is divine. That was like then. And it still is now, but I'm more so at peace with the fact that I truly love myself and I see how far I've come. I see how far I've come. I've been through so much crap, man. Way before even meeting him, way before meeting him, I went through so much crap in relationships, which all geared me up for him. And
And even
seeing that
probably childhood as well, right? Twin flames tend to have quite turbulent childhoods.
yeah, yeah, like just really bad relationships where people would always just take advantage or over me or not take me seriously, whatever the case was. And I saw this pattern even with my dynamic with him. And I said, you know what, Nick? You need to let your husband find you the right. Let him pursue you. Let him propose to you without you having any interference. There was one time when I did a live and I was telling people my story, and I literally called him my husband on the live. And he saw it and he got so upset. He's like, why did you call me your husband? And I said, you know what the definition of divine counterparts are. We have a spiritual marriage. I wasn't even trying to put it in his face and make it seem like, oh,
You are already married, yeah.
yeah. And I wasn't trying, and I was saying it in a way where I'm just looking at it from a 5D perspective. I'm not trying to tell you, oh, you have to propose to me. I see us as already, we're one, we're in union. And then he got so like defensive about it. He was like, don't call me that. I'm not married to anyone. I'm not married to anyone in any dimension. He got so upset. And he got so mad. And I'm just like, you never ever denied me before. Like, why are you denying me now? Like, this is so random. Why are you acting like why are you acting like this? But I understood because to them, when they don't see it like us, they don't understand it like us. And I saw him like, okay, I can see why that can be a turn off for you, but I didn't mean it like you need to give me a ring like yesterday. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that spiritually, when you share the same consciousness with another, with your being, because I'm just a simultaneous incarnation of you, that means you are joint, you are married. It's like definition. This is the definition of being married. And then he was just silent. He was just like, yeah, I don't know, this is a lot to process. And I said, I get it, I know it's a lot to process. And I even told him, I said, you know what, like I need to just let you live your life because there are things that have not been revealed to you yet that's been revealed to me, and I look crazy to you because you're not where I am.
But they
And
will it will be revealed to them and they will kick themselves in the head.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and we just have to continue to shine and flourish and do our thing because we're beautiful,
And
we're
live our
unique,
lives. Live our
live
lives.
our lives.
So I looked at
Yeah.
your social media And
Mhm.
with twin flames, often we're bringing light to situations where there's not light and alchemizing it. And I
Yeah.
saw that you have a certain link. So I wanted to ask you, we spoke about it earlier as well, and it's really interesting. It's going to help people. So you have an OnlyFans account,
Yes, I do.
but it's not what people would think, right? So
Nope.
tell us
N
about what it is, what you're doing there, and how is it going?
Sure. So, don't get me wrong. I am very, very sensual. Very sensual. I love embracing that divine feminine energy, that raw sensual energy. But when people think of OnlyFans, they tend to think of pornography. I do not do porn. I do not do porn. You might see a nude body, but it wouldn't be completely nude. That's not really my style. I just like flirting and playing with the certain aspects of the feminine, the woman.
So it's more like
And
artistic, right? It's art.
yeah, it's art. That's how I see it. Like, it's one thing to have sex on camera, and there's another thing to celebrate a naked body. The naked body doesn't equate to literal sex. And a
It's
lot of
like
people,
people equate the meaning behind what they see, right? So they
yeah,
can either sexualize you or they can see it from the lens of creation and
yeah,
divinity and love, right?
yes, exactly, Manny. And you touched on that perfectly. Exactly. So, but knowing the fact that I know that a lot of heterosexual men find me very attractive, what even caused the I guess the creation or the beginning of my OnlyFans venture was the fact that different agencies were reaching out to me on my modeling account. What you saw was only my coaching account. I have a modeling account and I have a music Instagram account. I wanted to separate everything so that you can see my specialties on each platform clearly. That's why I wanted to do that.
Good idea.
Yes, thank you. So I made my modeling account look like a portfolio slash magazine slash art gallery. That's like the vibe that you get from watching looking at that. Then my coaching has it's educational, informational, all that stuff. Then the music has my music. And agents were reaching out to me to manage my account because they saw that okay, she's a beautiful girl, we can profit off of her this business venture.
Hmm.
And a lot of males, like, they're drawn to me. They like my aesthetic, they like my body, etc., etc.
And also
That's
your energy as a divine feminine.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I think that's what gets them to stay. That's why they linger around. But like, you would look at like my body and they'll be like, oh wow, like she's hot, like I want to jerk off or whatever. Like I get that shit all the time, like dick pics. I get all that crap all the time, and
How do you deal with that?
I I would just transcend my brain, my ego. I would transcend my mind and just not judge them. I would respectfully tell them, hey, that's not my style. Please, like, don't send me that again. That's not me. Like, on my modeling account, I come off very, very like a tease. I would say, like, I am very sensual, very sexy, all that stuff. I like wearing lingerie, bikinis, and stuff like that. And I recently decided to switch up the way that I market my modeling account because I just want it to look more artsy and divine versus, oh, it's a thirst trap. Like, I'm selling you porn on the other side. I want to sell you divinity. I want to sell you alchemy. I want to sell you on the art of sexual transmutation. I want to sell you on how you can empower yourself by harnessing your sexual energy. You get a high off of looking at me and my sex appeal, but okay, that's fine, but you can channel that energy while you do that. Are you aware that you can channel that energy into pursuing your dreams?
Creativity. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, creativity towards being more motivational, like feeling motivated to get things done, feeling motivated to find your person. So you don't have to necessarily be on porn sites or websites looking for love outside of yourself. You can find your love within, which will magnetize the person
Mm.
that's out there for you. Like, there's so many ways to look at how you can use sexual energy as a manifestation tool.
And
And
how does your DM see your pics then? Like, how does he? What does he? What's his reaction to it?
so that's a great question. I love that question. And this is what I wanted to get into earlier and you stopped me. He he never admitted it, but you can feel when they're triggered. Oh my god. You can feel when they're triggered. I know that there were
But then, do
times.
you feel like they can do whatever they want, but as soon as you go and do what you want, it's the end of the world?
Yep, exactly. I'm like, you're out here living your best life. You're flirting with Mary Joe and Sally Sue and whoever who, you know. And but when I show, my assets in a way that you've never seen before, it's like, oh shit. It becomes like a problem. And like I said, he never came out and said it, but there are times where I'm like, yeah, I know that must have hurt or that must have stung, just because you can feel their energy. And
And
there are times
the videos, the pictures he does, are they also like swimwear, or he's clothed?
98% of it is clothes. Like he only has like maybe one shirtless, one shirtless picture on his account. But yeah, he's clothed. He's the opposite of me. I'm like naked. He's clothed. He's very reserved. I'm not.
That's bringing a lot of memories to my mind as well. But carry on. Me and my shawls.
And then your counterpart in his nakedness. Yeah, it's like we balance each other out. So yeah, he's very reserved, he's conservative, but he's like, he keeps it really classy but really like edgy too. Like he's into streetwear and stuff like that, but he can also be very classy as well. And I have like a really elegant side as well, but I have a really raw and sensual side. And when I started showing that more, and I like, a lot of guys were just flocking, 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 and he knew I had OF. He knew I'm also Playboy model. I have a whole account on Playboy as well. That one he supported because he really likes the brand and he knows that that opportunity can help me like really have like a really good career, like a promising career, having that under my belt, having that on my resume. He knows that. So like the loving part of him was like, okay, I'm gonna support her. Because when I told him that I was doing that, he was really happy about that. But then when I told him I was doing the OF, he got so like quiet. He tried not to judge me because he was waiting to for me to kind of describe what I would be offering on there. But then when I kept telling him like it's not like the typical OF, he kind of he became like more like mellow about it, and he didn't judge me. Like, one thing about him and we try our best not to judge each other because the love is just so profound, and he would just hold space for me the way I would hold space for him. But you can tell the same way that I would be triggered when he would flirt with other girls is the same way I triggered him when he would imagine, oh, guys are probably sending her dick pics, guys are probably trying to take her out, guys are
So do you
probably
think
doing
there's
this.
like an element of competition?
No. Mm-mm.
It's just living your life and your truth.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna move on to like twin flame purpose. Like oftentimes your core values and your core purpose is together, right? The same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So me and my twin flame both do a lot of social media, right?
Mhm.
But he does like whatever he does, but I don't do that. Like, and do you feel like with you, and eventually I think there is a merging that will happen with all twin flames. So do you feel like you and your twin flame have a joint purpose, values, and will they merge? What do you think?
You asked some really good questions. All right. So this is really candid of me to say. I've never said this like in public, and we've talked about this before. So I'm gonna jump around a little bit. I believe that we were created the way that we were created to procreate. I believe that I'm like the mother of his children. I've been getting a lot of signs about it. He told me that he had like a thought. Well, this was like 2 years ago, that he had a thought about what it would be like if we were to have kids. And then even before, like when we met, we were both so nervous to accidentally get pregnant because I feel like there's this internal compass talking to the both of us.
Yeah.
Hey, like this is supposed to happen in your life, but the time we don't know. So just be careful about how you have sex. And he was so nervous about getting me pregnant, and I was so nervous about getting pregnant. So, and I've never felt like that with any other person. I never felt a fear of, oh, what if I get pregnant? He was the only person.
But the children of twin flames will be great leaders on the world.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what's so crazy? I always wanted to name my child Max. And there's this kid. named Max, very brilliant, bright, beautiful child, very smart for his age. Can I tell you this Max looks just like us combined?
Combined.
Combined. And I always wanted to name my child Max. And then when I see this young kid on social media named Max, and he looks literally like a spitting image of the both of us with all these talents and gifts. And he even speaks about a higher state of awareness, higher consciousness. And I'm like, it sounds like I trained this baby. It sounds like I trained him how to talk. Like, God, what are you doing? And then, no, literally. And then I would see women that look like me that are pregnant, and then the spouse will look like him. All these signs about it. And you're like, really? So deliberate, so sharp. And for many years, I wondered, like, am I even meant to be a mom? It wasn't even something at the forefront of my mind. I knew that I was supposed to be like a wife, but being a mother, like, that's something I've always wondered. Is that really for me? So then to see all these signs about it constantly, constantly being forced in my face, I'm just like, okay, like, I really believe that's our mission. And even before the parent thing, we him and I used to work together on creative projects. Like, I would produce music. Like, I would write my songs and release my singles on Spotify and all the streaming sites, and he would design the cover art, and he would creative direct for me. And we always talked about doing more work like that together in the future, kind of like how Rihanna and ASAP collab, like how Beyonce and Jay collab, how Janae Aiko and Big Sean collab, like that kind of vibe.
Combining two forces, right? Two forces.
Yeah.
Interesting little tidbit. The first time I met my twin flame, I saw the past, present, future lives, everything. I saw this life. I saw our kids. Telepathically, he also saw it, and then I gave him like a 15-minute rampage of the future. And then I've seen my spirit babies and his higher self everywhere, and we bantered about kids. Like, I'm gonna make you pregnant, he would say to me. And yesterday I was looking after my friend's twins, and they were so calm around me. Like, with her, bless her, they've been driving her mad. But yeah, I think with twin flames, it is the whole kid thing is a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you feel like when you get those signs, like, you feel like it's kind of like, yeah, this is not for nothing. Like, this, I'm
Oh no,
being
it's real. It's a big thing.
a big
It's meant to
thing.
be. It's meant to be. God wants you to have, like, sometimes I'm like, it's so weird. Like, if only I could give birth, but I obviously can't because I'm a man. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's I want to know about what services you provide and like your social media handles as well.
Sure. So, all right. So the OF has is like a hub for all of my talents. So I have three different Instagram accounts. On my Ask Nikki account, I specialize in intuitive guidance, and I am an ascension coach. I help people to ascend on their spiritual journey, whether they realize they're on a twin flame journey, whether they're awakening to the truth of why we're here on the planet, things like that. It's like transformational coaching, basically. And I'll literally take you from where you're just like a caterpillar before you even go into your shell. I'll take you through that process. And working with me will enable you to become the beautiful, free butterfly, because I help my clients transcend their ego the way I was able to do it for myself. I feel like if you're on this twin flame journey, you are not someone to be messed with. Like, this is not for the faint of heart. Like, if you
No.
can master this journey, seriously master it, you are destined to be successful in your life, no matter what you decide, no matter what you choose. If you can come to peace and to terms with the reality of being a human being, and balancing the fact that you know that you are infinite awareness in human form. If you can balance that duality and master it, ascend on your journey, transcend your ego, you have won in life. You have won in life.
It's interesting. All the twin flames in union, the true twin flames that I know, are extremely successful and abundant. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's you get to that place of being so high in your vibration, but allowing, surrendered,
Yeah.
connected to the oneness, transcending all the fear and illusion. You think it and it comes. Like, I just think about things and they manifest. Like, it's so easy. And I
Mhm.
can't even imagine how it will be once you're in union.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I keep getting signs about us being very wealthy together too. Like having a lot of money, having
Mhm.
properties, traveling the
Mhm.
world. Um, it's so funny because he has a moniker where he calls himself like the stallion, like he loves horses. And in my mom's house, there is a gold stallion head in our den.
Mm.
It's been there for years. It's been there ever since I was a child. And I on his birthday this year, I said, "I got a sign about you recently having to move back to my mom's house." I realized that that golden horse was there, and I knew immediately that it represents my divine counterpart. I knew it, and I sent him this picture, and I said, "This is a symbol of your success in the future. I know that you're supposed to be wealthy. I know that you're supposed to have a golden future, and I know that we're gonna have a golden
Do you get
future."
dreams or visions about that? I've had like visions and dreams where like literally me and my twin are like at airports and he's wearing shades, he's holding one kid, I'm holding the other kid. I'm dressed in shawls. I'm just like namaste. The paparazzi is so funny. And he's like, move out the way, leave him alone.
Oh, yeah.
You get
I'm with
visions like that.
I'm
I'm
with
sure
you.
it's going to be like that. You know what? You've been like a sister talking to you today. It's been so beautiful. I feel like we could talk for ages. You've been so insightful, transparent. You brought us into your own home. And, I don't know. It's just been really nice, Nikki. And all your links I'm going to put in the description. But I want
Okay.
to really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I really believe that people should reach out to you because your content is great, your
Thank you.
coaching and transformational stuff is fantastic, and you've actually had experience of being with your twin flame for a lengthy time, and your connection with God is so strong.
Thank you, Manny. Oh, it was a pleasure being here today. And when I stumbled upon your account, I fell in love with you and your account immediately. I'm like, this guy. And then every time you pop up on my feed, I have to stop what I'm doing and just either watch you, read what you post. I always have to give you my full attention. Like I feel really strong connection to you as well. And I really hope to grow our connection and just
Yeah,
support you in any way. I really, really am so grateful that we connected.
we keep in touch, support one another. We're all together. We're all in it as one twin flame
Yes,
collective. God
yes,
bless.
yes.
But thank you very much.
Thank you,
Take care.
Manny.
Bye.